Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're going to be playing a new RTS game developed by Eugen Systems, and that game is Steel Division 2, a game which puts you into the shoes of either the Axis or the Soviets during World War II's Operation Bagration, which takes place during the summer of 1944, and was sort of the penultimate campaign of the Eastern Front, in which the Soviet Union broke once and for all the Wehrmacht's ability to really effectively resist Soviet offensives by destroying the entire German Army Group center. If Kursk was the last gasp of the German offensive, Operation Bagration ensured there would be no others, and also really ensured that the Germans would be sort of on the defensive and on their heels the rest of the war. This was as significant a campaign as Stalingrad in a lot of ways, not in sort of a turning point sense, but in the Wehrmacht's ability to, again, resist the Soviet advances. We're going to be playing Army General mode, so we're going to be playing a solo game in this, and this is going to be the start of a new series. We're going to be playing Army General mode, which is basically the operational campaign of this game. This game allows you to do sort of sandbox battles or some scripted historic battles or play multiplayer, which has really always been sort of the core experience of a lot of the Eugen System games. But we're going to be playing Army General Mode, which is, again, the campaign game, which is more of an operational campaign and focuses in on sort of a narrow slice of Operation Bagration. There is no one overarching campaign that lets you play it all because, frankly, it was such a massive campaign. But it allows you to focus on one specific area. So, for example, the Orsha battle focuses you in on the Orsha front, the beginning of the offensive starting in June 23rd through to June 26th when the breakthrough was made and the Battle of Orsha was really decided. It allows you to focus on, for example, the Battle of Berezina, which is a little bit further north of Orsha. The Battle of Bobruisk, which is kind of a German battle where the Germans are sort of surrounded and are being reduced by the Soviets, or Barnovitchi, which is sort of the end phase, at least of this initial phase of Operation Bagration, where the Germans are getting reinforcements and are planning a counterattack to try and delay or halt the Soviet breakthrough and perhaps save Army Group Center from destruction. With that being said, I think I did do a video that looked at the campaign, sort of a first look video, and we looked at a little bit at Operation Bobruisk, and Orsha, I think, is probably a little bit too big for my own skill set. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and do the Berezina campaign, which takes place from June 26th to July 3rd, 1944. The German front is broken. Soviet mobile forces are racing into Army Group Center's rear to isolate and capture its command and logistical centers. Meanwhile, the Germans are cobbling together whatever forces they can to hold the red tide long enough for powerful reinforcements to arrive. So you can see here the forces at bay or at play in this campaign are going to be the Soviet 3rd Guard Tank Corps, 29th Tank Corps, 3rd Mechanized Corps, and 3rd Guards Cavalry. The German forces at play will be the 5th Panzer Division and Group von Gutenberg, which are obviously a much smaller force. This is probably like a cobbled-together force, and this is the 5th Panzer Division. So let's go ahead and select Operation Berezina. Is that how you pronounce it? I guess we'll find out how badly I pronounce it in a minute when we get to the introduction of this campaign. I think for the campaign, we're going to play as the Soviet Union. We're going to have the Germans play, the AI play under medium difficulty, just because I think playing as the Soviets, we did the Germans in our last couple of battles, so let's play the Soviets.
If some German generals have been able to foresee the impending enemy offensive, all are shocked by the violence of the Soviet assault when it is unleashed on the morning of June 22nd. Artillery, planes, and rocket launchers devastate the German first and support trench lines, while the survivors are immediately overwhelmed by Soviet assault troops. In a matter of days, Vitebsk, Orsha, Mogilev, and Bobruisk, the main strong points of the German defense, fall or are surrounded. The 3rd Panzer Army and 9th Army are pushed back in different directions, leaving the 4th Army between them. surrounded on both sides and in danger of encirclement. By then, Minsk is only defended by a string of security troops hastily cobbled together and thrown against the Soviet tanks, while the mighty 5th Panzer Division is dispatched in a hurry and piecemeal to stem the red tide.
Orsha is about to fall. Army Group Center's front is broken, and what remains of the 4th Army is in full retreat. No major German unit now stands in the way of the Red Army's march toward Minsk and Molodechno. This railroad link is vital to the Wehrmacht. It is the Army Group's lifeline. Cutting it is one of the major Soviet objectives. The Berezina River is the last natural obstacle the Germans can use to slow down the Red Army, especially the bridges near Borisov. The 5th Panzer Division has been dispatched as reinforcements, but its lead elements are arriving piecemeal in Minsk. Meanwhile, the river is only defended by a weak screen of security troops. Your objectives are twofold: to capture Minsk and the major train station at Molodechno on July 2nd at the latest. Stavka also expects you to capture Borisov before July 1st in order to allow our troops to the south to trap and capture the remains of the German 4th Army. Soviet troops storm Orsha. The German garrison is living its last hours. Capture both Minsk and Molodechno on July 2nd at the latest.
Okay, so you can see here, this is the operational map that we have, that we're going to be operating out of. You can see our objective is Borisov, and up here to the north, what is this? Belgamo. Both of these German cities are sort of on the road to Minsk. Minsk is the capital of Bielorussia, today, anyway. I don't know what the region of Russia was called at the time. But Minsk is obviously a key central city to the Soviet Union, and if we can retake that, that will be absolutely vital in terms of the campaign's drive back into the deep rear of the German forces. You can see here we have quite a few troops or units that are at our disposal here. There's a front that looks near Babur. It looks like there's a bit of a front line here with some German infantry units. It looks like the 638th Infantry Regiment, some elements of that are sort of scattered along these roadways, which are sort of toward the river. In the north, I don't see any German troops, so we might be able to move more quickly up there. We also have some armor up here, so you can see here we have various different units that are already deployed on the map. You can see here, it looks like we have units that we can pull reinforcements from, or the 3rd Guard Tank Cavalry Corps. Not quite yet, but we will be able to get them by the evening of the 26th. The 29th Tank Corps already has the 31st Tank Brigade, which can be used as reinforcements. The 3rd Guard Tank Corps has the 19th Guard Tank Brigade as reinforcements. And the 1st Air Army has some... There's a Normandy Fighter Regiment? What? But the 1st Air Army is a air formation, obviously, which you can pull reinforcements from. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Looks like we start off with 25 command. We get 25 command points plus 25 each turn, I think. So we could theoretically actually call in, want the 1st Bomber Regiment or Fighter Regiment? I don't actually see any air units that are currently on the map for us, which is interesting. So we've already broken through, but I don't see any air units that we'll be able to use in our campaigns, which could be a little bit concerning. I guess in that case, maybe we should go ahead and get a Fighter Regiment. We can go ahead and deploy it on the southern portion of our advance here. So we just went ahead and spent 20 of our 25 command points to bring in the Fighter Regiment Normandy, which looks like it has several different air units that can be used to call in during battles. I think you can also sort of establish air superiority to deny the airspace to enemy planes in an air battle. So all enemy planes losing an air battle will be denied passage in this area. Will they have to lose an air battle? Losing an air battle will be denied passage in this area. Huh. Interesting. All right. So let's see here. This is the map. We've got a bunch of units already on the map. We've spent sort of our command points, so we're not going to bring in additional reinforcements. We kind of have two pincers in the south here, a recon unit with some armor and infantry back toward Tesseria, if that's how you pronounce it. And then we've got another force that's kind of on the roadway back toward Babur with some infantry in between us. We also have some armored and infantry and artillery units up here in the north. Near Cayman and near, I don't even know how you pronounce that. It looks like the city of Lenel is kind of a key roadway junction on our way toward Begamol. There's a couple of roadways that we could use to move through the forests up here in the north. Let's go ahead and use our recon here from the 1st Guards motor to move toward Lenel. So go ahead and do that. You can see here, as they move toward Lenel, they run into some elements of German infantry units. It looks like the 17th SS Police Regiment is between us and the front. We can go ahead and move this recon unit in the south along this roadway. That'll be into the rear of the German infantry unit here. And then can we try and move them a little bit further inland? Let's do that. Not inland, but inward, I guess. And then we'll go ahead and move this armored unit here. This, what is this, motorized artillery regiment? Artillery mortar regiment? So you can see here our troops in the north. We will, let's move these infantry units here. Or I guess they're cavalry regiments. This recon unit can move a little bit more. So we'll advance closer to Begamol up here. Same for the armor. The armor's going to come in real close behind them, and the artillery likewise. Meanwhile, the 86th Cavalry Regiment move here. Look like the cavalry can move quite as far. And then the 121st will secure this town of, however you pronounce that, to ensure that we're not flanked. So this cavalry unit's going to kind of secure our southern flank for this northern offensive. The 65th will sort of secure our right flank against the 17th SS Police. The 86th will be advancing down the main road with the artillery, the tank regiment, and the recon squadron as we advance on Begamol. So you can see here we're already making a quick, swift thrust through the German rear over here near Lenel, with one unit guarding our flank on each direction, and then other units trying to exploit and break through toward the city of Begamol, which is an important city in this campaign. At least it has a German flag, so I'm assuming it's an important city. Meanwhile, in the north here, we can see there are some other forces of ours, the 43rd Guards Tank Regiment, which is going to move this way. I guess we'll bypass Lenel a little bit. You can see here the max range that most of our units have. Doesn't look like any of them can quite get to Lenel. Okay, 7th Guards mech. 7th Guards. Alright, so you can see here we're advancing here in the north as well. I don't think we can attack this guy yet. Yeah, I don't have enough movement. Although this, in theory, the recon unit could cut them off. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have enough movement points left for anybody else to attack them. So we have surrounded the German troops at Lenel, at the very least, with this recon unit of ours. So I kind of bypassed them. And now the Germans here are cut off, and you can see this little yellow supply icon, this little fuel drum, I'm assuming represents the fact that they are surrounded and cut off from supply. So maybe one of our mechanized brigades can reduce these guys next turn, or we'll see how that all plays out, because they may actually try and attack us too. Meanwhile, now that we've done that, the northern force is going to move along this northern roadway. So we're going to move at Begamol here directly with our main force, with our sort of larger force here. These cavalry regiments, the 5th Tank Regiment, are all going to move on Begamol directly. And then we're going to move this northern force here, if they can get out of there quickly enough, toward along this major roadway and see if we can flank Begamol and lend some support to the southern pincer, or if these guys get held up, maybe bypass, or we'll see. But mainly, essentially, advance down these two main roadways in the north. It might not be a terrible idea, actually, for these guys if they had driven south, because then they could cut off all of these German forces in here But we'll see, because, again, if we can take the northern city, then we can drive directly on the city of Moldazino in the north. But we'll have to see how that all plays out. Meanwhile, in the south, let's see here. Can these guys attack the 638th? They can. So there's actually a battle group right here. So we could go right into an attack. I'm going to move the guards tank brigade up and the motorized infantry brigade up. I don't know if we'll still be able to attack with all those forces, but I am going to move my main southern force here. There's only one real roadway that these guys can realistically move along, and that's this main, looks like a highway almost. It's a double red line, so that may be a highway. So it looks like the main, I'm assuming you're supposed to follow roadways. I'm assuming you don't want to drive through forests, but I could be wrong. Okay. I guess we can move this motorized brigade up here to kind of guard our flank to move toward this roadway that branches north a little bit. So I guess we'll move 2 brigades to the north, just in case. If they can even get there. Yeah. We'll move 2 cavalry brigades to the north, just to clear this roadway as well, to make sure our flank, you know, while we do want to pincer the enemy, we also don't want to get our flank exposed to any sort of surprises. So I'm going to take this at its face value and say if deny airspace might mean the enemy can't bring in air units. So we'll see. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the objective anyway. We're going to go ahead and attack this guy. It looks like we can... There's an enemy battle group with armor. Then they've got some artillery, and they've got 2 infantry units. If we do attack, we have our motorized sort of recon battalion comes first. After that, we get the Guards Tank Brigade, and then following that is a motorized rifle battalion. That's not exactly the deployment that I would like. I would like to kind of overwhelm them. Oh, they also have a bunch of other C units over here. Let's actually not do that. We're not going to attack there. If the Germans want to attack us, I'm assuming I'll be able to bring in more of these forces here in sort of an A combat phase. But right now, it would be essentially a battalion of infantry versus 2 maybe battalions. These both look like they're fragments of the 638th Infantry Regiment in Phase A, but then the Germans would also have multiple armored and mechanized units coming to the reserve. So I don't think it's a good idea to fight that battle quite yet. So we'll just move our units like so for the first turn, and then we'll go ahead and we'll resolve our first turn, which is the AM phase of June 26, 1944. So it is now Kampfgruppe von Sacken's turn. You can see the Germans are moving some of their units toward the point of contact here along the highway. And it does look like they are going to fight. They are going to attack us here. So again, by the looks of this, what's being attacked? Is the Guards? Yeah, the 18th Guards Tank Brigade is being attacked. We can also bring in the 10th Guards Motorized Battalion and the 62nd Motorized Rifle Battalion. So we can bring... We're going to get the Tank Brigade on the defensive against what looks like 2 infantry battalions and then a enemy armored battalion. Or regiment, or whatever battle group von Allrock is. But then we also have the recon battalion of ours, which will also be Phase A, and then we also have the 62nd Motorized Rifle Battalion that will arrive in Phase C of the battle as reinforcements. The enemy does look like they'll have some off-map, or I'm assuming that's what the asterisk means, the A asterisk, but they'll have some artillery that they'll be able to deploy as well. So it's going to be 2 infantry battalions, an armored unit, and artillery in Phase A, followed up by some mechanized or police tank units in Phase B, and potentially some anti-aircraft units in Phase C. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to fight this battle in tactical formation, and we'll see what happens here. So you can see, select which battalion to command. Drag and drop companies if necessary. I mean, I'd like to command them all, so we're going to do that. You could delegate some of these to AI, it looks like. Then we're going to go into a battle. Okay, so, you know, the one thing I wish they did a better job of in this game was, like, defensive battles, is I wish I could... I'm assuming these are objective points. But, like, I wish it didn't always start, like, 50-50 or deploy your troops here or whatever. I'd rather be able to define a defensive... like, be in a defensive position and have them have to deploy for the assault. So it's a pretty... I don't really know. I don't really know. We've got 40 command points to start the battle. Jeez. So where do I want to deploy my troops? It's a pretty sprawling battle to have to deploy everything by manually. Maybe I should have done AI. This is some high ground over here. There's a wood line here. I guess we'll do the motorized... Well, actually, the recon armored car company. Okay, so these are sappers. I really just want some recon. Valentine. I don't know. Promise I don't know. Like, I know German units that have anti-tank weapons for their... Oh, this does have a bazooka. So this unit does have a bazooka. We have to deploy everything in the rear, though. That's what I don't like. Like, I should be able to deploy up front here, shouldn't I? In any event, I think what we'll do is we'll send some troops here to this sort of plateau, by the looks of it, as a defensive position. Also use this sort of high ground here as a defensive position on the right. So key defensive position here, here. Maybe race some troops forward to this wood line here. And then also on the left there's a key crossroad and wooded area over there. Doesn't look like we get much in the way of... We only have 40 command points to start. Alright, I'm going to put this guy over here. He's going to race forward to this wooded area. It looks like we only get one of them, though. So I'm going to move those 2 infantry units forward to this wooded area. Sherman tanks. Oh, boy. RPG-43 anti-tank grenades. Why do we only get one of everything? This is a small-ass unit. Is this whole Soviet force like that? Let's deploy him down here in the south. I'm going to deploy another anti-tank gun up here. So we're going to race this one, put an anti-tank gun in the woods here, put one on this plateau over here. And I think we'll put one down here. So we're going to put an anti-tank gun here, here, here. Okay. And I guess if I can get one up here, it makes sense to put one into this wooded terrain. Looks like it's got a high vantage point. These EMCs, what's their M3 late tank gun, 75mm? It's not going to be very good against German armor, probably. Might be useful against German infantry, though. Alright, so these guys are going to race forward over here. I need more infantry on the left. That's where the terrain works in our favor, I think. Okay. Guess we'll have a commander vehicle maybe back here in the rear. Any of these guys have anti-tank as well. It's a flamethrower unit. I'd really rather go heavy infantry. Alright, this guy's bazooka. So Put him up here with these fellers. 57 AP. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know these decks well enough to know like what's the right way to deploy some of these forces. Okay, I don't have any air units, by the way, which I think is worth pointing out. Hopefully these Shermans will be better on the defensive, because apparently the Sherman played a big role in this campaign. Okay. Got a bad feeling we're going to get overwhelmed. I've got a huge defensive front and not a lot of troops to defend it with. Okay. I'd rather more infantry. Most of my infantry doesn't have anti-tank weapons, and most of my tank units aren't very effective. The Valentines might actually be decent. I'm not sure. It's a 57mm gun, but it is an AP gun. I guess I had hoped that the I guess I had hoped that the tank regiment might be a little bit more heavily armed. Okay. All right, so I think that about does it for our deployment phase. We'll have to see what the Germans come at us with. So we'll go ahead and can I order these guys to move yet? Sort of. Okay, so let's move all of these guys. I don't want to move this tank. This command unit will move here, but these other units fast move up there. Okay. These EMCs are going to move into here. This anti-tank gun's going to move here. I'm not sure if they actually take their orders. Oh, they do take their orders. Okay, well, good thing now that I started it. Let's see here. These guys need to fast move. I see. All right, he's going to fast move up here, and then they're going to roll the guns in. Fast move here. We're going to use this plateau as sort of our key defensive position. Actually, let's just move them all up here fast. These guys are going to move fast over here to this wood line. I was going to defend here, but it doesn't look like there's a roadway here, so they're going to move through this wooded terrain. The one exception might be the anti-tank gun I think I have over here, right? Yeah, let's move him here. Okay. Moving those already issued their orders. Did they give these guys orders yet? I think so. Yeah, I did. All right, and then over here. Okay. All right. So, very initial orders issued. Troops moving in fast move formation, which means across open roads. Okay. I think I'm going to unload this 76 here, this 76 here. That should give us a good field of fire across the center of the battlefield. I really wish I had some artillery, which it doesn't look like any of my current units have. Let's actually move him here. Enemy contact. Where? Shit. Objective lost. Where are they? Alright, so that's an open blitz. Alright, this is... here. Okay. You are going to move here. Okay. All right. Mainly, I'm just going to stay on the defensive. That's my main objective at this point. Okay. Actually, I'll put you here. All right. Put them in the wood line up here. Put this guy. Wait, this isn't anti-tank. This is a half track, isn't it? Yeah, with troops in it. Fast here into that wood line. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and resume. The enemy's pushing down the center of the map, by the look of it. Shit. Shit, they're sprinted right down the map. Get in the woods. I don't have anything in the center here. Let's call up... M2's under attack. Tank brigade. Alright, we're going to call 2 armored units down the center of the map here. Jesus, they're just sprinting right down the middle of the map. Our troops over here are pinned down, engaged with these guys. They need some armor support. Man, they just turned our flank over here, too. Ah! Okay, so they already turned our flank over here, too. Jesus, they just, like, sprinted right down the middle of the map. I think we secured the right flank okay, but the left is in some trouble. You can see some enemy artillery, ranging artillery, already coming in down here on this Sherman. This gun is already pinned down without adequate infantry support. Let's move him over here in the woods. Some armor over this way. Some tigers. Shit. Where was that? So our troops in the center already getting overrun. Alright, let's get some more infantry. Okay. Mechanized company. Alright, we're gonna bring in a whole mechanized company in the center here to push back. Then they've actually got a bunch of bazooka units there. Move these guys over here. bounce. So we're engaging the enemy Tigers over here. Our EMC is under attack. Our Sherman is firing over at these Tigers. You can see his shells bouncing right off. Looks like our 76 must have already gotten destroyed. Do we have any other... We're going to call 3 of these guys up here. Shit. Tiger over here. Driver killed in the Tiger at least. But I tried to order my infantry to unload here. Alright, move these guys forward on foot. Sapper, you move in here. Move into that building. You guys move over here. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. We're just starting a new Soviet campaign here as we attempt to drive on and take Minsk. And this battle has just gotten underway, our first tactical battle in the campaign. German Tigers are playing a little bit of havoc. You can see them really chewing up some of our armored vehicles there. But on the positive side, it looks like they've advanced a little bit into a little bit of a situation where they have some of our armor on their flanks. We saw Vincent kill an enemy loader or driver, and it looks like we might have some chances to hit them in the side armor, so that may bode well for us. But we'll see how this battle plays out in our next video. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.